Okay, so I was in Ourinhos, which is in the Sao Paulo state, but I was on my way to Sao Paulo, and got there. And the tricky part of getting to Sao Paulo is like this is a city of like 25 million people. It's not on the ocean, but it's like super massive urban setting, and it's the biggest city in Brazil actually, like 25 million people. So the challenge here was like I don't have internet when I'm traveling in the car. I don't have data. I don't have any connection. I don't have GPS. I don't have anything. So the only way for me to travel is to send myself screenshots that I made the night before from the computer of the map. So for example, if I'm traveling to Sao Paulo and I make a wrong turn, wrong exit, I need to go somewhere to find internet to then figure out how the hell to get back on track unless I can put it together right away. So it's like super important that I like get it right. And going into a city of 25 million with all those exit options and everything, it's like you got to be on point. So I was amazed that I actually nailed it. Like I nailed it. I didn't make a mistake. I was like, how did you do that, dude? Like, it was ridiculous. But anyway, my hotel was in kind of like a central part of Sao Paulo, pretty rough neighborhood, but like very central, very close to a subway. And that was the first city where I could use a subway in Brazil. Like, after living in Buenos Aires, that's the first city where I really used subways. It was interesting to see some of the other cities, how subways work, and Sao Paulo was the first one. So the first night I got there, I got checked in, just started walking around my neighborhood a bit. Ended up at this like soccer stadium. It was pretty cool. People are totally going crazy, and I didn't go in, but I was just at the stadium. And there was like thunder in the sky and stuff like that. I don't think it rained that night. It might have, but if it did, it was quick and then over. Because later on, I like went back to my hotel, and of course using the apps a bit on this trip. So Sao Paulo was insane. Like I've never been like treated so well or had it so easy anywhere ever in Buenos Aires, anything like that, as Sao Paulo. It was like I don't even know how that happened. But anyway, so first night went up to meet this woman, and we went to Paulista Ave, which is like the famous avenue in Sao Paulo. We went to a bar, and then one thing led to another, and whatever. And then the next day, I met up with another woman. I went on kind of like a tour. And we ended up on Paulista Ave again and went inside some museums. That was cool. We also went to like Chinatown and saw a bunch of churches and museums. I really wanted to kind of see the city, and she was like playing tour guide, and she knew a lot about it. And we also saw like a bunch of graffiti. They have these huge murals in Sao Paulo that are like super nice, like awesome graffiti. But actually, I didn't take any photos of this other type of graffiti, but they have this other type of graffiti called pichação. And it's actually what hit me the most. It's not even graffiti of pictures, it's like letters, like tagging here we have in North America. But the letters all look like super Arabic and like mysterious and angular. And the other thing I found out about this is like it's always on old buildings. And the art of this type of graffiti was like who had the most guts to climb to the highest spot to put graffiti in the most dangerous place. Like leaning out a window, like using ropes, like climbing, scaling the buildings. It's crazy, crazy stuff. But the way that that looks, I'll put some pictures here, is just like super affecting. It's not nice graffiti, but it's something really cool about it. So anyway, so then that finished that day out, went back to the hotel, of course back to the apps, more magic for me. I don't know how, why, but this is how it was. And then the next day, I had like an ultra long walking day. Like, I think I went first of all to Parque Independencia, which has like this like government type building, and this amazing like sort of, I guess you could say, plaza, or I don't know, it's like in front of the building. It's like a super nice area, so that was cool. And then I kept walking and ended up going through, like, again, classic Bruno, like through a graveyard, and ended up at this Parque Aclimação or something like this, which had a lake. That was pretty cool. And then kept going and probably saw some museums and stuff on the way, some churches, that type of thing. But I kept going and crossed this like massive highway. And then there was this museum that I couldn't get into because it was closed. It had like this giant cat. But on the other side of the museum was Parque Ibirapuera, or something like this. And that's kind of like Sao Paulo's giant park that everyone goes to. Like people just like exercising like crazy around it. Like tons of fields, a big pond. It was really, really cool, that park. And then after that, I had to get back to the subway to catch the subway back to my hotel. And then again, Sao Paulo's magic of the apps. I don't know what it was. Met another woman that night as well. So yeah. Anyway, I'm not like bragging, but I've never had anything like that in my life. And like Sao Paulo was just like, whoa. I don't really understand this. Maybe it's because it's such a big city. I don't know. But that's how it was. So then the next day after Sao Paulo was the time to go, and I was exhausted. Like Yeah, I hadn't slept a lot while I was there, and I had some really long days of walking. Like I think the second day was like probably like 18 kilometers of walking or something. It was ridiculous. Super hot too, although the weather there was sort of rainy on and off. So I headed to Rio, exhausted, and probably because of that, like missed my exit. But managed to get to my hotel. Now Rio always for me has been like, that is Brazil in my mind. From an outside stereotype, before anything to do with South America, as a child, like Rio and the Jesus and the Sugarloaf Mountain, that's like my Brazil. That's what I associate with Brazil. And it always had this sense of just being like ridiculously vibrant and so many things clashing and mixing that I was like, whoa dude, like Rio is the kind of place that will like eat me, because I won't be able to like keep it outside of myself. There's just too much going on. So anyways, as I was driving on the bridge to get into Rio, like seeing all the water and all the mountains and things, I was like, this is going to be awesome, even though I was exhausted. So like I said, I got to my hotel finally, and it was in kind of an interesting district. There was like these like super skinny, like narrow, hilly little like kind of ghetto like streets right near my hotel that I checked out. There's a video of that there. But there was also this like harbor thing with like this like crazy spaceship like museum thing that I don't even know what it was. That was interesting. But my mission in Rio was basically like, get to the Jesus guy, the Jesus figure. And I'm saying the Jesus guy. You're like, what's it called, Bruno? What's it called? I don't know what it's called, but I know I love it. Anyway, that was my mission. Hit the two beaches, Ipanema and Copacabana, and check out Sugarloaf Mountain as well. Those were my missions. And it was so hot when I was there. First night in my hotel room, the fan stopped working. I swear to God, man, the whole night just dripping with sweat. Like it was like out of control. Next day, super hot. I go to do the Jesus hike, and you can hike all the way to the top. Some super cool stuff in the forest and in the park as you're climbing up. As you're going up, you can see kind of like how steep the drop off is to the city. Like it's a hard hike, and it was so humid and hot. I was like absolutely just like I jumped in the swimming pool, like so wet. So I pop out at the top in the Jesus area, and the officials are like, dude, where did you come from? Because I was just so sweaty, like shirtless, like out of the jungle, which it's legal, but it's not how most people do it. And so I was like, yo, I just walked up, like, okay, well, awesome. And so then I went to go see the Jesus, and at that moment there was like fog coming over, because it's a high point. And so Jesus was like this total psychedelic Jesus thing. It was awesome. I was just like, woo! Got some video of that. It was right on the mic. Oh man, it was so good. And then I like hiked down, and on the way down I got kind of lost. But that was all right. This old man told me this like secret trail I could take, and so I took that and ended up back. And I finished that day out at Ipanema, which I have some video of. It's a great beach as well. So that, like, I mean, you can't have a better day than that. That was unbelievable. But I'm exhausted, right? Totally sweated out. So I think I got some food, and I headed back to the hotel. And fortunately, no crazy night adventures. I could sleep a little. But the next day, same thing, like ultra long walk. And that one, I hiked as far as I could up Sugarloaf, or to the cable car to Sugarloaf. But at a certain point, like you can't. So you can't get up any further. So you have to take the cable car. So I took the cable car. And I mean, it's worth it. It's amazing. Like if you go to Brazil, you have to do this, and hopefully you get a sunny day like I had. It was amazing. And then from the top, the views are just like, I mean, look at Rio. Like, look at it. Like, best city in the world. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I haven't been to all the cities in the world, but like, totally blew my mind. Met every possible expectation I would have ever had. It was insane. So then from the Sugarloaf, I took the tram back down and hiked down, and I ran into some monkeys at the bottom, these little tiny monkeys. And then I went to a beach, Copacabana, another famous beach. That one wasn't quite as poppin' as Ipanema, but it was pretty good. And jumped in the ocean, cooled off, and then went back to my hotel. And that was my 3 nights in Rio, my 3 nights in Sao Paulo, and that was kind of like a major hub for me in the trip, and absolutely exhausted after that. So after that, I was still in the state of Rio de Janeiro, and I was heading up to this place called Campos dos Goytacazes. It's hard for me to pronounce this, but that's the name of the place. And as I was driving on the way there, I could see that the landscape became like way more dry. Like not desert dry, but like it was almost getting that like golden kind of grass vibe or whatever. Right? So that was cool. And yeah, so got to Campos, and the hotel was like this like cutesy kind of like place with a pool. It was empty, but it's like almost like an old people's home, and they had like this mural, and that was kind of cutesy, but the town was kind of cutesy too. So after that, I left the hotel to go check out the city, and kind of walked down to this bridge area and cross this bridge. And as you cross this bridge, you get into a much rougher neighborhood, and like I was definitely like the only white guy, and it was cool. It was awesome. I ate some dinner there, like an espetinho, which is like meat on a stick, like shish kebab style. like ridiculously cheap, dude. You could buy like, I swear to God, like 10 of them for like $1. But I'm always worried about my stomach. Like, is it gonna hurt my stomach? Because this is being cooked like right on the street. But usually if it's just meat, it's okay, as long as it's not too greasy or whatever. So that was really good. There was like a pond over there in that part of town. You can see some buildings across the way. Nothing special about them in the video, but when you're actually there looking, they almost look like Arabic, like something you would see in like Dubai or something. It was weird that it was there. But anyway, so I walked back across the bridge. And at one point near the bridge there was like this almost like capoeira type class thing. So I have like a little video of that. That's another one of Brazil's kind of activity exercises, apart from jiu-jitsu. And so then I crossed across the bridge again before it got like too late and too dark, and I was worried about my situation. And then I went to like this main plaza area where there's this like cool fountain and an awesome church, and I got some video of that too, so that was super cool. So then I left Campos and I headed into the next state, Santo Espiritu, and my next city was going to be Vitoria, but on the way I stopped at this place called Guarapari, and there's a Moro beach there. However, en route to that even, the landscape became insane, like totally rolling, gorgeous blue sky, but like dry landscape, and then these like almost like sugarloaf rock type mountains on the side. I mean, that landscape was awesome on that drive, beautiful, gorgeous day. So I get to Moro Beach, because it had been recommended to me by one of the girls I'd met, and it's a city, it's not like a resort, and it was blue sky, gorgeous, best vibe in that town, like a small little town. Parked my car, hit the beach, got some food, and man, I love that. That was so good. It wasn't like one of these like tourist destination in the jungle type beaches, but it was nice, man. It was really good. So anyway, so then I continued on to Vitoria, and Vitoria, like my hotel in Vitoria was this like giant, super tall building, and it was like I typically don't stay in like giant hotels because they'd be more expensive, but this was like this giant building, and I think I actually got like to stay there for free, because the next day when I was leaving, there was like a kerfuffle in the lobby, and they like just checked me out, but they didn't swipe my MasterCard or anything, so I would need to go back and see. But this happened to me in Panama, I think, on the trip down. Same kind of situation. So I'd have to go back and check if I actually have a MasterCard charge for that hotel, but I feel like maybe I don't. But anyway, so the hotel was like super tall, and like you can see here like this cool sunset view from the window, because I was like way up on one of the top floors. There's the river there, and there's like some of Vitoria. And oddly enough with the hotel as well, the parking was really strange. It was a separate building, super tall as well. And instead of like driving in and going up the floors like this, you would drive in, they'd put your car in neutral, push it onto this like platform, and it would take it up to like a super high floor. Then it would like be taken off neutral, push back, and just like park. So you don't have to circulate up. It's a way of saving space, I guess, but I've never seen this before. Should have totally taken a video because it was like super interesting. But anyway, so that was fun. So I was at the hotel, and then I was like, okay, well I gotta go get some food, some groceries. So I headed out, and ended up getting my groceries in a pretty rough part of town. I mean, who knows if it's a rough part of town, but my sense was like, okay, Bruno, like, let's get out of here, because it was like nighttime by now. So I came back to like the area closer to my hotel, and it was like this like interesting historic district, I guess, near my hotel. There's some like churches and some big government buildings or whatnot there. And then I just ended up going to like a hamburger restaurant. I ate 3 hamburgers, and I actually could eat all 3 of them, even though it was like, the guy was like, how can you even eat that? But I was probably just absolutely like famished after Sao Paulo and Rio, just pushing so hard there. So that's pretty much Vitoria. Next day I would have to get my car to that crazy elevator thing, and maybe got the hotel for free, depending when I look back at my MasterCard. But anyway, it was great, man. And that was like a major moment in my trip, the Sao Paulo Rio thing. Like Foz do Iguaçu was crazy. This was another like monumental moment within Brazil, like sort of like one of my focus areas. So super cool. I had a great time.